Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I will be doing an analysis of The Samaritan by John Lara, Act 1, Scene 1, and the second episode. The first episode runs from page 1 to 15. Then the second episode here runs from page 15 to 21. I mean page 15 to 19. And that is what we'll be looking at here. First, let's look at some of the notable characters. And the first character here is Mosi Atunya. So the episode begins when Mosi Atunya, who is the mayor for Maracas municipality and who was to launch the Samaritan app, has released the students and teachers so that he can remain with the distinguished guests, as well as the principal, Miss Narin, and the ethics and innovation teacher, Miss Nicole, to voice his reservation for not launching the Samaritan app. So he says that the Samaritan app is going to lead to witch hunt, misinformation, and lies. And we see a kind of difference in views because Piro, who is the local board chairperson, as well as Basdeo, the official opposition leader of Maracas municipality, have thrown their weight behind the Samaritan app. Harvester Honorable Ramday, who is also the deputy mayor, seems to be sycophantic and following the footsteps of the mayor in also opposing the Samaritan app. When the mayor tries to rain on Nicole, the innovation teacher, to stop the Samaritan app by writing a letter to the Ministry of Education, Ms. Nicole becomes adamant and insists that she's going to do only what is right. And her principal, that is Ms. Narin, the principal of Sagrada Secondary School, also makes it clear that from what she knows about Ms. Nicole, she's a kind of a person who is principled and quite uncompromising, especially on what she deems best. So the mayor ends the meeting quite exasperated, threatening Ms. Nicole and the principal that should they fail to stop the Samaritan app, then he has unnamed consequences that the duo will face. Basically, that is the plot of this second episode. Mosi Atunya comes out as commanding, and this is evident where he tells Miss Narin, the principal, as well as Nicole, that they must stop the Samaritan app. So it could also be authoritative. That same illustration can be used to bring him out as authoritative. Secondly, he's temperamental. When he rains on Miss Nicole in vain to stop the Samaritan app, and it's quite not forthcoming, he is unsuccessful, he raises his voice. So that brings him out as temperamental. Apart from that, he is also contemptuous. When Pirot, the chairman of the local school board, throws his weight behind the Samaritan up and categorically tells him that he really thinks that Miss Narin should not write the letter stopping the Samaritan up. He says that there is nothing that he can discuss with a mere local school board chairman. That brings him out as contemptuous. Again, he's a blackmailer. Threatening Miss Narin, the principal of Sagrada, as well as Miss Nicole, that should they fail to stop the Samaritan up, he has lined up and named consequences for them. So those are just some of the character traits for Mosi or Tunya. Secondly, we have another important character in this episode, and that is Pirot. Pirot is the chairman of the local school board, and one trait by Pirot is that Pirot is assertive. When everybody keeps quiet listening to Mosi or Tunya trashing the Samaritan app, and by the way, he quite undermines the Samaritan app by saying that thing, I've just forgotten its name. That is quite undermining the app. He is assertive and he asserts that the Samaritan app is going to be a blessing to the country. Apart from that, he's also courageous. When Ms. Narin says that the president is to launch the Samaritan app of the next year in January when schools reopen, Pirot realistically throws his weight behind her by courageously facing the mayor and telling the mayor that they cannot quite overrule the president and that the Samaritan app must just continue. And that also can be used to also illustrate his being reasonable as well as realistic. Again, we have another character, that is Honorable Basdeo. Honorable Basdeo is the official opposition leader of the Maracas municipality. One trait we see of him is that he is hopeful or optimistic, sensing optimism that the Samaritan app is going to be a people's platform and that it is going to bring about implications in the aspects of the life of the people of Maracas. And again, when the scene one comes to an end, he says that he has never been more helpful. Apart from that, he's also sarcastic. When Mosi sarcastically replies to him that whatever he says that he is smelling a new dawn is just the smell mostly of berries or corn on cobs, and those are always delicacies for porcupines. He sarcastically replies that no doubt it will be a delicious new dawn in our islands. There is also Miss Nicole. Miss Nicole is principled, and even when the mayor tries to intimidate her to write a letter to the Ministry of Education disowning the Samaritan app, she says categorically that she will do what is right. Ms. Narin, the principal of Sagrada, also lends credence to the fact that Ms. Nicole is principled when she says that she is sure. That is when Ms. Nicole has left the meeting, that Nicole is not going to write that letter, for she always does not compromise when it comes to what she feels is right. That can also be used to illustrate her being assertive as well as courageous. So here are 4 characters who I have highlighted from that episode. There are other characters, but these are the main characters in that episode who help in the flow of that plot. Apart from the characters, we have the major aspects of style used. So the aspects of style in this episode. And as we continue with our video, viewers, allow me to ask those who are new here to kindly hit onto that subscribe button so that anytime we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. Again, to my subscribers, I continue to thank you so very much. One aspect of style here is a metaphor. And an example is when Pirot, the chairman of the local school board, says that the Samaritan app is a blessing to the country. Again, Mr. Honorable Basdeo, the official opposition leader, also notes that he smells a new dawn for Maracas municipality as a result of the Samaritan app. Number 2, there is the simile when Mosio Atunya, the mayor, is trying to undermine the Samaritan app. He flashbacks. So that also tells us that there is also a flashback. He flashbacks to a time that someone wrote some lies about him, and the news spread like bushfire. So there is also that flashback when Monsieur Atunya remembers the time that some lies were written about him. Again, there is hyperbole. Or what we call exaggeration. Just on the same statement by Monsieur Atonya, he says that during that time when the lies were spread about him like bushfire, that he accidentally swallowed a whole toothpick in the process. And his deputy, Honorable Ramde, also uses humor when he says that even now, people are still going to write misinformation and lies about the mayor on the Samaritan app, and that he is going to once again swallow the whole toothpick. So that is humorous. Then again, there is sarcasm. And on page 19, with a sarcastic grin, Monsieur Atunya, the mayor, says that that is when Basdeo says that he smells a new dawn. Then Mosi sarcastically replies that it is the smell most likely of berries or corn on cobs, and that they are delicacies for porcupines. So the statement is sarcasm, but there is also a metaphor, as Monsieur Atunya calls Basdeo as a porcupine who is feeding on berries and corns on cobs. That is the innuendos and what he calls the misinformation found on the Samaritan app. These are just some of the aspects of style that are evident in this episode. Lastly, there are some of the themes. Some of the themes that come as a result of that. And one such theme is that there is the theme of optimism. There is the theme of optimism, and the theme of optimism is carried by people like Pirot and Basdeo, who believe that the Samaritan app is going to be a blessing to their country, and that it is going to usher in a new dawn for Maracas municipality and its people. Again, there is this theme of hypocrisy. In trying to compel Miss Nicole to write a letter to the Ministry of Education with reservations for the use of the Samaritan app, Monsieur Atonya, the mayor, makes it clear, or is quite pompous, that he has been elected by hundreds of thousands, both directly and indirectly, to represent the interests of the people of Maracas. But he is quite hypocritical, because later on in the text it will become evident how he has presided over the municipal council that has been plundering resources in the Maracas municipality. So that kind of high irony highlights some sense of hypocrisy. Then there is blackmail. When Monsieur Atunya threatens Miss Narin, the principal of Sagrada Secondary School, as well as Miss Nicole, the innovation and ethics teacher, that should they fail to stop the Samaritan app, but there are unnamed consequences. So that is also an element of blackmail. Viewers, that is a snapshot or an analysis of what happens in Act 1, Scene 1, the second episode from The Samaritan by John Lara. We are stopping there, but before we stop, to those who are requesting and asking how they can be helpful and of assistance to the channel, you can check just next to the comment section. There is a button for thanks. Maybe you can buy for our channel some bundles through that thanks button, and it will go a long way in ensuring that we always bring you these videos at your doorstep. Thank you. Until next time.